Let's go to the project settings to connect to our Azure Container Registry. Let's go to pipelines, service connection. Let's create a service connection. Let's use the Docker registry. And in here, we want to configure our Docker registry. So the first thing we need to do is to add the URL connection. The URL connection is this one to the login server. Let's copy from here. The Docker ID is our username, or password. Let's copy this one. We need to add a service connection name, which this one is gonna be identified when configuring in our pipeline. So let's create a Docker registry service connection. We need to grant permissions to our pipelines so you can have access, and we save it. Okay, once we finish with this part, let's go to pipelines. Let's create a new pipeline for continuous integration. We go to the Use Classic Editor, and we select our project. So the first one, the team project, Azure Microservices, the repository. The first one that we're going to be configuring is the account. We need to do this configuration with each of our repositories. So let's continue. Let's search for .NET. This is a template that is already containing the steps that we need. Let's apply this. Let's create the pipeline is CI account pipeline. This is a server that this one is gonna be running. Let's choose Ubuntu. This is all the configuration that we need for this part. Let's then go to the resources. This is the repository. Everything here, just leave it as it is. This is the execution plan. We're not gonna configure anything here, not yet. This is our pipeline. This is how this is the steps that we're gonna follow once the new code it reach the repository. So first we're gonna restart. We have some for building, running unit testing. We don't have any right now, but this will run the unit tests, and publish. One step that is missing is the one that is gonna build the Docker image and publish that into our registry. For that, we need to add a new step. So let's add it here. Let's create a for Docker template, and here's the Docker. Let's add, and this one is gonna run the build and push to where? To our container registry. In here, as you can see, we choose the one that we just created. The container repository name, this is gonna be our account app repository. The command is gonna be the build and push. That means that it's gonna build the image and it's gonna push it into our container registry. So we leave it as it is. The Docker image. So This is the link to our Docker image. As we are already in our account application, let's just find it. Let's go inside and let's choose our Docker image. This is the path to the build context, as we already that contains the Docker image. As we already choose this one, we just remove the information here, and that's it. We just need to save. Just save it in the main root. Is that fine? And lastly, we need to go to triggers. We need to enable continuous integration. And what it's gonna do is when we push the changes into main, it is gonna start the continuous integration pipeline and run through the steps that we just saw. So let's save this. Document integration for account. Let's see if it works. Let's go to the account. See the changes. You see we have a lot of changes. Let's commit everything. So by adding the AEM, we don't need to add them. It is gonna be add all the files that are already added into the Git. Let's just add in Docker support. Origin. Okay, let's go to the pipelines. Let's go to the let's go to the pipelines. Okay, we can see that it is running. Let's go inside and we can see that is running the job that we just created. It restores, view, runs the test, publish. It is now building the Docker image and publishing it. We have some warnings that we need to fix, but let's just ignore them right now. So publishing, we just finished, and we will make sure it really publish our image into our Docker registry. Let's go to our Docker registry repositories, and we see the account app repository just published. So let's just do the same thing for all our service applications. So let's go to the pipelines, new pipelines. This is gonna be for history now. choose the template.net. It says continuous integration, history, pipeline. We're gonna run this in Ubuntu. We're gonna add a new step into our job. So Docker. We need to add it before publish artifact and after publish. We choose our container registry. We choose a name for it, and it's gonna be, we said history app repository. I think I choose account app repository. Yeah, history. Let's choose our Docker file. I don't have the Docker file. Not yet. This is for history. Let's just send account history. I don't know why. So I do have a Docker file here. And I have a git ignore. It's not working. Oh, okay. Here it is. Docker. I couldn't see it. So let's go to triggers and enable continuous integration, and we save it. Save it, and let's test it working. Move to the history. Let's add the git ignore. Git add Docker ignore. Git commit having Docker ignore. This should trigger our job, and we should also build our Docker image and add it into the Azure Registry. So let's go to pipelines. Pipelines. But it's not working. This story. Account history. Let's check what happened. So Let's see the trigger. For some reason it didn't work. Let's try again. History. Let's make a change in some part. Let's remove, for example, data space. Keep dash space refresh origin, that is main. Did I didn't add the again? What happened? Ah, okay. I can see my error. Let's see if it trigger a pipeline. Go to pipelines. Oh yes, now it's working. Nice. Let's continue with the other pipelines. Let's just go to pipelines, new pipeline, choose a new repository. So right now we are running account and history. Security is left. .NET Core template. We change the name to the template version. This is for security pipeline. Let's choose again Ubuntu. Go to agent. Let's add a new one. Docker. Add. Let's put it after publish. Then we choose a registry. We choose a name for repository. That is security app repository. We choose a Docker image. We delete the view context. We got the triggers, enable triggers. We can send some variables, but we don't need them because we have them right now in our app config. So let's save this. Configuration for security. And let's create a new pipeline. This one is gonna be for transactions. .NET Core template. We choose Ubuntu. We are into our job, a new .NET. I'm in Docker support to build and publish into our Docker registry. Let's choose our container registry. We're going to be pushing the image. Let's create a new name for this one. for the repository there is going to be transactions app repository. We choose the Docker image. We evaluate the clear context and we save this. First we need to add the trigger. Main, we save it. History, transactions, continuous integration, transactions. Save it. Okay, so first let's see if history already did it. Account. So transaction. We need to wait for transactions. Let's run security. Security, okay. So I don't know where this one is now. Let's just add a new terminal. Okay. No, this one does not have the Docker file. How? No, it has it. Let me check really quick. Microservice security. Yes, no, okay. Docker file, it's here. Okay. So let's just make what we already have. And the Docker support. And lastly, transactions, security, transactions. Let's go to terminal. Let's just add what we already have. And let's make sure everything, all pipelines are running. First page. I didn't change the name for this one. Security. This one is going to be continuous integration. And this one is going to be transaction. I don't remember file number. App pipeline. Slide transaction pipeline. I think. I'm sure. Yep. And let's wait just a few seconds. When this one finished, we should see all our repositories in our Azure Container Registry. Is building the image. Publishing the artifact, and it's finished. Good job. Now let's go to our registry, repositories. We refresh this and we should see the 4 repositories that we have. Awesome. So we finished with the part of the code, the building, the testing. This is the part of the job inside the pipeline. And we send this into our app container registry. So basically, we did this part. We sent the code into Azure repos triggers the Azure pipeline, and the Azure pipeline creates the Docker images, send them into the Azure Container Registry, and this is where we are right now. Next steps, we're gonna be publishing with another pipeline, sending the information into the Azure Web App for Containers, or app can be also well, I forgot the name. Kubernetes, sorry, Kubernetes. We already have it here. This is our final and production step, where we send information, we deploy our applications into Azure Kubernetes. So we finished by now.